Hottlesville was a tiny village which once existed just north of today's Elizabeth Avenue, beyond what was the north boundary of the village or borough of Old Bethlehem. For sure, very few people know about the existence of the now-defunct place, and even fewer know about this frightening aspect concerning a particular family in Hottlesville. Hottlesville eventually became swallowed up during the Great Annexation period around the turn of the century. These days it is a small residential section in North Bethlehem, and very few people remember the mysterious goings-on that took place 130 years ago.
This story concerns the family of Jeffrey Moyer, who swore that he and his family was under the influence of either a witch or a devil. According to Mr. Moyer, he was attacked by a witch, and later his wife became a victim of this spirit. Eventually, the oldest daughter of the family was possessed. This demon, according to Mr. Moyer, initially overcame him on November the 1st of 1890. Apparently, this demon transferred from him to his wife at around Christmas time. Mr. Moyer recounted his story to a Bethlehem Times news reporter. Mrs. Moyer's possession lasted until May 18th, at which time she freed herself from its clutches. When the daughter became possessed, an elderly neighbor became aware of the situation, and she urged them to seek help from a local physician named Dr. Wilhelm. They brought the afflicted child to his place in Robsville. The good doctor apparently was able to prescribe a cure, freeing the girl from the spirit. It took 9 days for the cure to take effect. By this time, the mysterious force again attacked the mother, and she remained under its spell through much of the summer. Oddly, on Sunday, August 9th, the so-called witch left the older woman and it returned to the daughter. Mrs. Moyer's condition following the second attack left her very weak and near death, according to accounts. By this time, a person identified as a witch doctor was summoned from Allentown. This person intervened and supposedly drove away the witch-reading passages from Scripture, specifically from Psalm 91. When witnesses were asked to describe the condition of those afflicted, they described patients suffering from horrible pain. They became delirious, thrashing about, trying to rip off their clothing as if they were afire. Victims had to be further restrained from tearing out their own eyes. Some of these sessions lasted as long as 2 hours. The inhabitants of this small, close-knit farming community were unable to understand what had befallen the family, and as a result they attempted to prevent the evil by practicing various types of home remedies. In one case, a black cat was killed, then burned in a funeral pyre. Another attempt to cure involved placing a large basket of rotting onions on the porch of the family. Someone warned the family that the beast might return as a handsome young man who would be transformed from a white mule. Others were convinced that the evil spirit would return as a little child or perhaps as a dog. A fence was erected around the property to ensure that it could not enter the home again. The superstitious behavior eventually pitted neighbor against neighbor. People became suspicious of one another, and friendships were adversely affected. Eventually, it is believed that a seance was performed at the Moyer home, and suddenly everything returned to normal.